الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين. Surah An-Naml, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam when he came to the valley with his army, and he heard one of the ants talk to the rest. When Prophet Sulaiman crossed with his army and came to the valley of the ants, and he heard one of the ants talking to the rest of them. And at that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا مِنْ قَوْلِهَا وَقَالَ رَبِّ أَوْزِعْنِي أَنْ أَشْكُرَ نِعْمَتَكَ الَّتِي أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ وَعَلَى وَالِدَيَّ وَأَنْ أَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا تَرْضَاهُ وَأَدْخِلْنِي بِرَحْمَتِكَ فِي عِبَادِكَ الصَّالِحِينَ. So Prophet Sulaiman smiled, amused at her speech, and he said, "My Lord, enable me to be grateful to your favor, for your favor, which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteous deeds, of which you approve, and admit me by your mercy into the ranks of your righteous servants." I want to focus in this verse on the word that you approve of, to enable me to do righteous deed of which you approve, a good deed that you approve of. And the importance, this word may be the focal point of this verse. To do a good deed that Allah approves of, not that you approve of. And there is a difference. You worship Allah the way Allah wants you to worship Him, not the way you want to worship Him. You worship Allah with the skill that He gave you. For example, if you are someone who have knowledge, you worship Allah through spreading this knowledge, through teaching. If you withhold your knowledge and you say, "I'm just gonna fast and extra, I'm gonna do night prayers extra," that may not be accepted from you, because Allah wants you to worship Him with the skill that He gave you. If you are someone who have money and he said, "I'm gonna keep the money to myself, but I'm just gonna pray more, fast more," still you'll be at risk of not being accepted from you, because Allah wants you to worship Him with what He provided you. So you have to understand, worship Allah the way Allah wants you to worship Him, and to do a good deed that He approves of. But what is the definition of a good deed that's approved by Allah? The good deed approved by Allah has to have two conditions. First one has to be sincere for the sake of Allah. And second has to be correct. Correct means according to the Sunnah. For example, you can donate to charity a large amount of money, but if it's not sincere for the sake of Allah, just because you want people to speak about you highly, that's not accepted. At the same time, you may do a good deed from outside, but it's not correct. For example, you pray Zuhr 5 rak'ah, is not accepted. It has to pray 4 rak'ahs. So it has to be correct and has to be sincere. So you have to, every time you do a good deed, say, is that a good deed that's approved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And to know that, you have to study your deen, to know what is right and what is wrong. So I want to contemplate on this verse, especially the word that to enable me to do a good deed that you approve of, when you're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah, wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.